Hello first year media students. This then is the TV Advert report assignment. I've hyperlinked you to the website on the assignment brief, as you can see here, which will give you some further resources to guide you through this assignment. The most important of which is this prezi here, entitled Completing Unit 30 LO1. Useful. You'll also find the assignment brief, our lesson on advertising and our lesson on photography techniques here as well, but this prezi is the most important one to help you with this assignment. So, 23rd of April, this was given to you. 14th of May, it is due in at 5 PM. 3 weeks of time in lessons and in blended learning sessions as well to develop your response. Message me directly if you need any extra help between now and then so I can assist you in meeting the deadline. I understand life gets in the way and sometimes illness occurs, but if it matters enough, you'll find a way. So 3 weeks to work on this. Level 3 90 credit diploma, 1.5 A-levels worth of qualification you're going to have in about a month, 2 months time. So almost there, almost the summer. This is the second outcome for Unit 30. The first outcome was the planning for the YouTube series project. In this assignment for Unit 30, Advertisement Production for Television, you're covering outcome 1. Now, you're going to be producing a TV advert report describing, explaining, or, if you like distinctions, comprehensively explaining, which means including everything, relating to the structures and techniques of TV adverts, with examples and, this is important, subject terminology. The purpose of the report is to help LO1 creatives, who are a London-based advertising and creative agency, understand that you have a good grasp on the fundamental structures and guidelines within advertising before you go into the YouTube series project, which is going to be nothing but practical from here through to the end of the academic year. The YouTube series project is you creating an original YouTube episode and then promoting it, advertising it. You can be carrying out research for the TV advert report into the structure and techniques used in a range of TV adverts and presenting your findings by discussing the impact and role that they play in connecting with their audience. So, for the TV advert report, you can choose to do this as a written piece. You could choose to do it as a blog. You could choose to do it as a series of small posts on Instagram, video posts, photo posts, comments underneath. You could choose to do it as a big report within your Google site. You can choose to do it as a YouTube video of you vlogging, much like I'm doing right now. You could choose to do it as a podcast of you articulating in an audio format your findings as to the different structures and techniques of TV adverts. You choose. You decide entirely how you wish to put together this report. Up to you entirely. Now, for this TV advert report, you need to demonstrate, as I've said, different styles and techniques within adverts. Now, these are the bullet points I'm looking for you to include. So, if I were you, what I would do is I'd copy these and I would put them into a new Google Doc or whatever form you wish to start your report in. Now, this prezi that I mentioned at the top of this walkthrough is going to be crucial because it will guide you through everything you need for this assignment. I'll explain. So, the first bullet point is form. Tell me about different types of form of television advertisements. So, we're going to be learning about these in the lecture. You need to give me examples for each and tell me why these particular forms connect and relate to the audience and the product, as it were, that they are advertising. So realist is quite gritty, quite appropriately enough real, quite prosaic, you might say, quite normal. Kitchen sink realism is a phrase that was used in the 40s, 50s, 60s to describe the British sort of style, and this sort of harkens back to that, you might say. Anti-realist is quite fantastical, quite otherworldly. Animation, you know about. can be quite childlike, can be used as a way to show things you couldn't ordinarily see or show otherwise. Might be useful for showing diagrams or cross sections of complex scientific situations. Documentary, again, ties into realist narrative, you might say, in that it captures real life, documents the truth, the reality. Why would that be useful in an advert? Talking heads are like me right now, a talking head framed in medium close up, mid shot, actually talking about something. In a talking head, why is that useful? Is it to get the views and opinions of real life audience members, perhaps? Tell me. Standalone means a one-off advert. A series is a series of adverts. Think about the Meerkat adverts, for example. So for style, you need to think about humorous adverts, surreal, dreamlike, borderline nightmarish adverts, dramatic and parodic, as in parody. Why are these useful? Why are they chosen as styles to actually connect with an audience? Codes and conventions. So, in terms of codes and conventions, what are the norms, the expectations, the tropes that are included in terms of the way cameras are used, in terms of iconography? Think about London in terms of the visual ingredients: Big Ben, London Eye, red telephone boxes. This is the iconography, the icons that make up the grammar, the syntax, the language of what we know as London. In terms of a media student, the iconography might be a DSLR camera, your ID badge. It might be the fact that you are using a mobile phone in class. This is iconography of a media student. What iconography they're using to communicate with the audience, an idea. Editing. Use the terminology you've learnt in Vicky and I's last units to actually articulate the use of editing, the conventions of editing within adverts. Lighting, we've done a couple of lessons on this year. Think about use of lighting to communicate an idea, a message, an ideology potentially. And sound and music. What's conventional, what's normal, what's expected? Maybe take one advert for this particular piece and tell me about these elements within said advert. Mise en scène. Now this was covered in a blended learning session. You may not have engaged with it as well as you perhaps should have, so I've put the Prezi here for you to explain what mise en scène is in more detail. Essentially, it's 4 elements: costume, set design, location, and lighting. So these 4 elements are essentially what I use to craft the stage to visually communicate to the audience. Tell me about the mise en scène of a particular advert. Computer graphics, pretty self-explanatory. Find a good advert that shows good computer graphics. Here's 1, 2, 3 for you within the actual report. Why are computer graphics used to communicate to the audience? Why that choice? Because it is always a choice that's made in these adverts. Why that particular choice? Once you've done that, I want you to then move on to target audience. So for this part of the report, you may need to consider the demographic. I also want you to consider the psychographic profile, the hobbies, interests, lifestyle, other things that the audience might be interested in. YouGov profiles is really useful for you, helping you to find out who the audience is for a particular product. Now, you might want to, for example, put in your product here, and it will go through all the social media profiles that it has access to, and it will composite and compile a compilation, or rather a cross-section of the average or mean average customer of said product, breaking it down in terms of who they are, in terms of gender, politics, where they live, and so on. This is quite useful. I've also put here some other ways that target audiences are focused on. Distinction level learners will consider all of these elements here as well. In terms of techniques, think about hidden messages, subtle, nuanced, subconscious messages given out in certain advertisements. Give an example. Give an example of an emotional response or association. Think about charity adverts. Self-perception. Think about adverts that actually ask the audience to think about the way they're perceived in a wider society. Social position. Which adverts actually ask the audience to consider themselves in terms of social position? This might tie into the self-perception example. One advert might cover 2 or 3 of these. That's perfectly fine. Same with the music video case study. Not necessarily asking for an example for every single bullet point here and every single sub-bullet point. Asking you to show me what these words mean. Apply it with examples. Celebrity endorsement. Again, these 3 might tie in together. I then want you to look at ASA and Ofcom. So ASA, the Advertising Standards Authority, are tasked with actually maintaining the standards. I want you to tell me how they do this. What is too far in terms of an advert? What is perhaps rude, too sexy, too violent, too inappropriate in 2018? What they banned recently? In terms of Ofcom, the media police, Ofcom and the media police, as we know, what's the line in 2018 in terms of an advertisement? What can and can't they do? What is too far? So, in terms of regulation, what people got to be conscious of in 2018. The last bullet point is how and why ideas are originated for a specific product. So here, focus on one advert and carry out research into it. Analyse how and why ideas were originated for that specific product in terms of the benefits it offered, in terms of advantages over similar sort of products, USP, brand identity. Why were the ideas in that TV advert, why were they created and crafted and manipulated and edited and refined and repeated for that specific product? A bit of research is needed for that last bit there. To wrap things up, I want a conclusion. Put a bow on it. Wrap things up. Give me a short summary discussing how TV adverts are made and the role that they play in the media in 2018 and 19 in terms of web, viral, mobile, etc. Now your final piece, the TV advert report, the final completed bit of work will be due in Monday the 14th of May in Google Classroom. Here's some links to help you meet said deadline. 1 minute before 5 is when the work is due in. Your feedback will appear here, your grade will be here, and here are the differentials between pass, merit and distinction. Please sign here to verify that this is your work and you haven't nicked it from some other student doing this same outcome on the internet. Also sign here please, learn a declaration to declare that this is your work. Any worries, please let me know.